So what's up guys, it's Ash here and welcome back to a brand new video. If it's Christmas when you're watching this, I wish you all the best of days. I hope you have a great time with your family. If you don't celebrate, I hope you're having a fantastic rest anyway. I just hope you guys are having the best time possible. Now, I'm just going to do something a little bit different today. I don't really feel like playing too many games and, you know, publishing tactics. We do that all the time. I wanted to do something different. So we're going to be ranking every single playstyle plus in EAFC 24. Now, this is not going to be the normal versions, it's just going to be the gold versions, and yeah, this is just my opinion. I thought it would be fun because people are always discussing which are the best playstyles, so I thought I'd give you guys my take on them. So yeah, with all that aside guys, let's get into ranking all of these playstyles, and yeah, enjoy. If you guys want coins for FC24, make sure you check out MMOEXP.com. Their link is down in the description. They're very fast, they're very cheap, they're very reliable, and if you use my code Rema, you can get yourself a lovely 5% so we're going to start off with the chip shot plus playstyle plus. Here we go. We're just going to go in order of the images we've got here. So we've got all the shooting ones and the passing ones. So starting off with chip shot plus, guys, I actually think I'm going to put this in the B tier. Now the reason I'm going to put it in the B tier is because it's still very good, but I don't think it's an absolutely essential playstyle to use. I do very much enjoy the improved chip shots when you have somebody with this trait or playstyle, but I don't think it's an absolute game changer, and I don't think it's as overpowered as some of the other ones. So it's a very solid B, which isn't bad. It's just not the top tiers in my opinion, guys. Now moving on to the Finesse Shot Plus one, I think you guys know where this one's going. That is going into S tier. Now this one has actually been nerfed, but it is still absolutely ridiculous. The reason this playstyle is so good is because if you don't use the Finesse Shot playstyle, Finesse Shots as a whole are completely terrible, but the moment you put this Finesse Shot Plus on a player, they are absolutely ridiculous at pinging the ball in from pretty much any angle, even after the nerf. Finesse Shot Plus is a very consistent way to score, and it's a reason why a lot of people use the specific cards they do, such as Griezmann and Son. It's just a really good playstyle, definitely in the S tier in my opinion, guys. Now moving on to the power header, I'm actually going to put this in the B tier as well, kind of for the similar reason as the chip shot. I think it's a very good play style. I just don't think it's an absolutely essential one, especially with the way this game's played. You don't always cross and head the ball. If you do this on pro clubs, you could probably argue it's A or S tier, but for like the general experience of this game, I would put this in the B tier because a lot of the plays are like cutbacks and stuff like that. You don't really have the ball in the air in the box, so power header, not really that necessary most of the time, but it is still a very good playstyle, guys. Now moving on to the power shot one, it's kind of similar to chip shots and power headers, but I'm going to be a little bit biased here and put this in the A tier. Now the reason I love power shot plus is because it allows you to score goals and catch your opponent completely off guard. Now this is by far my favorite playstyle in modes like pro clubs because it's just super fun to use on your virtual pro. You can pretty much just bang shots in from anywhere. The increased speed that you have on the power shots as a result of this playstyle as well shouldn't be underestimated. You know, you get them off very quickly. It's almost like a normal shot when you have this playstyle, a very effective one, and I think it's just better than the chip shot and the power header, but maybe not as necessary and meta as the Finesse Shot Plus one. So I think it goes in between these two tiers and we put it in the A tier, guys. Sorry to interrupt the video, guys, but I have noticed around 90% of you that watch the videos are not subscribed to the channel, so if you are enjoying the content or finding it helpful, please consider adding that subscription as it does help me out massively. Also don't forget to drop a like on the video as well, and with all that aside guys, I hope you enjoy. Let's continue. Now moving on to the dead ball playstyle. Some people might disagree with this, in fact I know some people will, but this one's going in the A tier alongside the power shot. Now the reason dead ball plus is so good is because if you just have one player with this on the team, you're pretty much set for every set piece you have, whether it is free kicks or corners. Now, the free kicks you can score with dead ball are absolutely ridiculous, regardless of the player's stats. They could have like 70 free kick accuracy, really low shot power, and still bang in a knuckleball. You can also take corners insanely accurately, so I think it's very important to just have one player with this playstyle plus, and you're pretty much set for so many scenarios in the game, and for that reason, I think it's highly underrated and goes in the A tier, guys. Now, moving on to the passing traits or the playstyles, incisive pass. This one is going to go in A. And the reason being is when you use incisive pass, the killer pass, the important pass in that final third just seems to be way more consistent when you have a player with this playstyle plus. Now, some people might not think it's that good, but honestly, when you use somebody with this playstyle plus, you'll really notice how much your player in the final third improves because of the fact that they can play that pass perfectly all the time. It's not in the S tier because I don't think it's an absolutely essential playstyle plus to have, but it is really, really good and helps with the attack very much. So I think incisive pass, absolutely brilliant playstyle plus, guys. Now, moving on to the next one, we have the pinged pass playstyle. Again, I'm going to say this one, honestly, B tier. Now, I've used ping pass, and I don't think it improves the speed as much as people think it does. It's very good, but it's not insane. It's really nice to have alongside like the chip shot and the power header, but I don't think it's, you know, the top 2 tiers. I don't think it's as good as other ones. So I think it's very solid, but we're going to put this one in the B tier. You guys might disagree with that, and that is absolutely fine, guys. Now, we're going to have the long ball pass up next, and again, this one's going in the B tier for the exact same reason as the pinged pass. Very good, honestly, very, very good, and you can pretty much abuse some like long range passes with this. There is a glitch where like from kickoff, you'll pass the ball to a player with this, and then absolutely launch it over the top. I do really enjoy this playstyle plus, but I don't think it's that much better than its original, you know, silver playstyle, just the normal one. So I think it's really good, but I don't think it's insanely good. But that is just my opinion. I wouldn't want this to be the playstyle plus on my player, but that's just me, guys. Now, moving on to Tiki Taka. Again, this one, solid B tier. Now, I'm struggling to put any in the C and the D tier because I don't think any Playstyle Plus is necessarily awful, but, you know, there are some that aren't as good as others. And I think with Tiki Taka, if you're playing pro clubs, again, like I like to do a lot of the time, when you upgrade the bots, like the AI players, the centre mids will actually have this playstyle, and it does make their passes so much better as a whole. You are able to build up the play. It is really useful, but again, I don't think it's as necessary as some of the ones in the top 2 tiers. I think the gold one, the silver playstyle of this, the normal one, is just good enough, so I don't really think it is necessary to have the gold version of this. That being said, it's very solid, which is why it's going in the B tier, guys. Now, moving on to the Whipped Pass Plus. This is going to be a controversial one as well. This one is going in the S tier. Now, I said people don't like to cross all that much, but honestly, when you have a player with the Whipped Pass Plus playstyle, you know about it. When you get to the wings and you use this playstyle plus with a player, it is very, very overpowered. The passes are hit with such pace, they're hit with so much curve, and it's very difficult for any defender to stop. So even if you don't like crossing that much, this playstyle is incredible, and it's even more noticeable on pro clubs. I'm sure many of you that have played it will know how broken this actually is with like a tall striker. Whipped Pass Plus, in my opinion, a very, very good playstyle plus, and that is going in the S tier. You guys might disagree with that as well. Now, moving on to First Touch Plus, I think we're going into ball control here. I'm going to put this one in the A tier. Now, the reason I think this one's in the A tier is because although it doesn't sound that crazy, it has a massive effect, guys. So when you use First Touch Plus, it improves the way your players will trap the ball, and it improves how fast they are able to get going after they've taken that first touch. So if you're using a player that is already quick, let's say, I don't know, Mbappe, and he had this playstyle, you'll notice how much faster he'll get going when he receives a ball. I've used this playstyle plus quite a lot, and I think it is much better than people think it is. It is honestly crazy how fast a player can trap the ball and then get going. It is so underrated, and I think it is a solid A tier. But again, that is just me. Now, moving on to Flair Plus, this one says, fancy passes and shots are performed with even greater accuracy, performs Flair animations when contextually appropriate. Really controversial. I'm going to put this one in the D tier. And the reason I'm going to put it in the D tier is because it's not useless, but it is significantly worse than a lot of the playstyle pluses here. If my player had Flair Plus on, I wouldn't really think that's an added bonus. You know, it's really good when you're messing about, trying to do something cool. But, you know, other than that, not really very useful. I'm going to be honest with you. It's just for looks, and I don't think it's that effective. You know, if you just had the normal Flair playstyle as well, you'd probably be happy with that. But when that's the main main playstyle plus, I don't think that's great. So Flair plus is going in the D tier. You guys can argue with that if you would like. Now, moving on to press proven, guys, another controversial one. I'm putting this in C. Now, the reason I'm putting this in C is not because I think it's bad as such. I don't think it's great, but I don't notice the effects of this one as much as I do the other playstyle pluses. Now, I've experimented with Press Proven Plus on multiple different things, on Pro Clubs, on Ultimate Team with specific cards. I don't think it really does all that much. You know, you can get pressed from behind and somebody will still nick the ball off you. I don't think it does as much as some people think it does. I think it's okay, but again, I think it should be much better than it is. I feel like it's still way too easy for a player to press somebody with this playstyle on and win the ball back off them, but that is just me. So this is going in the C tier for me because I don't think it's that good. Now, moving on to, I think this is Rapid Plus. Yes, this one, again, going in the, actually, I don't know. I'm going to put this one in the S tier. Now, the reason I'm putting this one in the S tier is because it just gives your player that much more explosive pace to burn the defenders. Now, I was contemplating putting this in A, but after using players with this Rapid Plus playstyle, you really do notice how much faster these players are, especially off the start. If you could combine this with First Touch Plus, honestly, you'd have the most insane pace and dribbling possible. But I think this playstyle is absolutely incredible. I use it on Ousmane Dembele all the time, and he absolutely blitzes players down the wing. So Rapid Plus for me is an S tier one. Again, you guys might disagree, and that is absolutely fine. Please let me know down in the comments which playstyle pluses you'd put in each tier. I might even share the link for you guys, and yeah, let me know if you think I've got any of them horribly wrong. Now, moving on to Technical Plus, guys, we're going to pop this one, as you guessed, in the S tier. Now, the reason this one's so good is, even after its nerf, it just makes players untouchable when they have this playstyle plus. I've been using it on Butragueño a lot, and people just can't tackle him. Like, the way he uses the controlled sprint, it's almost at, like, some players' full sprint speed, like, without R1. So it's ridiculous, very overpowered, allows you to keep tight control, and you just glide past defenders. This playstyle plus is honestly insane, and it is in the S tier for sure. Just to mention, guys, I'm not really ranking them in any specific order in the S tier or the A tier or whatever. We've just put them in the appropriate tier, and yeah, so don't think I'm saying like Finesse shot is way better than technical or rapid's better than technical. We're just putting them in A tier, guys. Now, I think we're on to defending here. I think we are. We're going to put, I think this one is block. I'm actually going to put this one in B. Alright, I'm going to put it in B because I don't notice a major difference when somebody uses the block playstyle. I already think people are pretty, like, the AI on some players is already pretty insane, you know, like when you're not controlling the player, they'll still make blocks. I don't think block is incredible, and I don't think it is the best defensive playstyle, you know. If I saw a player with block, I'd think I'd much rather have somebody with anticipate or bruiser. I think block's okay, but I don't think it's any more than that. It's like an added bonus if you can get it, but I wouldn't choose that as a specific playstyle, but that's just me. So this one is going in the B tier, guys. Now, moving on to Trickster Plus. Ooh, now this one's a tough one, and this one might annoy some of you guys. But I'm going to put this in the C tier. Now, the reason I'm going to put it in the C tier is not because I have a skill issue. It's really not that. I think Trickster Plus is great fun. You can do a lot of wacky tricks, which is sick. But again, I think in terms of like overall effectiveness, I don't think it's that crazy. You know, you could have the normal Trickster and still be good. So I think Trickster Plus has some pretty cool things, but I don't think it's really that effective. You know, if we're going to do that thing where, you know, you could have the ball stuck to your leg, we're going back in time here, we'd have that in the S tier, but for now, I think in the C tier. I think it's flashy, but I don't think it's always crazy effective, but again, you can hate me if you like. Now, moving on to the Bruiser playstyle, guys, we're going to put this in the A tier. Now, I really, really like this playstyle plus, because it just allows you to use that new, like, advanced defending mechanic so well. When you tap X or A if you're on Xbox, you can just completely barge a player off the ball, and Bruiser plus really does make a massive difference. I've used it on certain players and it is just crazy. If I could have this on like all my fullbacks, I would love it, because you can just completely barge somebody off the ball and you're good to go. I think this playstyle is crazy. I really, really like it, so it is going in the A tier, guys. Now, moving on to Intercept Plus, I'm going to put this again. You might disagree. I'm putting it in the B tier. Now, I use this on Rude Hullet. I've used him in a draft multiple times now, and I don't actually think it does all that much. There are still a lot of times where somebody will play a pass, and he won't intercept it, even if he's right there, and even when he does intercept it, he won't keep the ball close to him. So I don't think this playstyle does a crazy amount. Again, you guys might disagree. I think it's alright. I think it's nice to have. I definitely think it improves it somewhat when it comes to interceptions, but again, don't think it's utterly ridiculous. So we're going to put this one in the B tier. I would contemplate putting it in the A tier, but I don't want to put too many in specific tiers. So we're just going to put this one in B for now. And yeah. Now, moving on to, which one is this? I'm struggling here. This one is Jockey Plus. Now, if we're talking before all of the updates in FC24, I would have put this in the A or the S tier. But for now, I'm going to put it in the B tier because they basically improved everybody's overall jockey speed when it comes to defending. So this playstyle plus now is not as important as it was. It's kind of like many others. It's nice to have, but not ridiculously good. So I think it's in the B tier. I know this B tier is stacking up, but it's just my honest opinion. If we're talking before the patch though, like the very first patch, I'll probably put this in the A or the S tier, but not now, guys. Moving on to, which one's this? Slide Tackle, I think it is. Slide Tackle Plus. I've had this on a few cards, and I'm going to be honest with you guys. I'm going to put this in the C tier. The reason being is most good players just won't slide tackle because it is completely unreliable and it is risky to do, even with this playstyle plus. It's just not one I think is very effective for how this game is played. If EAFC was more rewarding with manual defending and slide tackling and stuff like that, this would obviously be a lot higher because it would be crucial. But right now, nobody really uses slide tackling. You know, if you're using slide tackling, you're going to be conceding a lot more goals than you should be. So I think this is in the C tier because I'm not saying it's completely useless, but it's not great at the same time in my opinion. Now, Anticipate Plus, this is the easiest S tier of the defending playstyles. Now, the reason this one's so good is because when you make a tackle with a player, the ball will stick to their foot most of the time. You get crazy animations, and it just makes it so much easier to defend. This is why people love cards such as Laurent Blanc, because they just win the ball back, and they're so good at doing that. Anticipate Plus makes an absolutely massive difference. If you could pick any playstyle to have on a defender, you would probably put this one on every time. It's that important, that good, and it has to be in the S tier in my opinion, guys. Now, moving on to, I think this is Acrobatic Plus. Yes, it is. I'm going to put this in the C tier. I think it's good. I've used it a few times, but, you know, like, for example, Erling Haaland has this Playstyle Plus on. I think it's his gold card. You'll see, like, the icon flash above his head as if he's doing, like, an Acrobatic Plus volley or something. And the volleys aren't even that crazy, you know. It doesn't even seem to do that much. So I think this one's a little bit underwhelming. I wish, you know, those volleys would be a little bit better. I don't think it's, like, completely useless, but I don't think it's great, so it's going to go in the C tier. I think it's alright, but it could be a lot better, but that is just me. Now, moving on to Aerial Plus. Now, this is a tough one. I don't know whether to put this in A or S. When I look at these other ones, I think these are absolutely vital. This one, I think, maybe not quite. Now, I absolutely love Aerial Plus. I'm really tempted to put it in the S tier, but I don't think it is as good as the ones in the S tier. I think it's very important. It allows your players to win a lot of headers, win all the aerial battles as they should. You definitely notice a difference with this. It's very overpowered from corners, like when you use Van Dijk with Aerial Plus. Really, really good, but I don't think it's as important as the playstyles in the S tier. But that's just my opinion. It is a very tempting one just to put it in there, but I'm not going to. I'm going to put it in the A tier, guys. Now, what have we got next? Trivela Plus. Now, people are going to hate me for this. I'm going to put this in the C tier. Alright? I really am. And the reason I'm going to say this is because to do a good Trivela, you don't even necessarily need the trait, and you especially don't need the gold playstyle plus. It really doesn't make as much of a difference as people think when it comes to Trivela shots. The silver one is good enough, and you can even do them without it, and they're still very, very good. So I think this playstyle, as far as like playstyle pluses go, I don't think it's as good as a lot of the other ones, and I wouldn't want it on my player. That's just me. I don't think it's all that. You know, I think you can do perfect Trivelas without this. You know, I really don't think it's that important, but you guys can argue with me if you like. I'm putting this in the C tier. Now, moving on to long throw-in. I'm going to put that in the D tier. Now, I don't think it's completely useless. I think it's better than Flare, but, you know, would you really want this as a player's playstyle plus, like, compared to a lot of these? Not really. You know, it's fun to use every now and then to catch people off. Like, we use it on pro clubs all the time because the fullbacks have this playstyle plus so they can launch the ball. You can't pick it, but it's still pretty good, but I really wouldn't want it. In fact, it would probably be one of my least, you know, desired playstyle pluses. So it's going with Flare plus at the bottom. I don't think it's completely crap, but, you know, I wouldn't want it personally. Now, moving on to Quick Step. Again, these are getting tough now. I'm going to put this in the A tier. I think Quick Step's cool. I think it's really good, obviously, but I don't think it's as good as Rapid. I notice more of a difference with Rapid than I do with Quick Step Plus. This one might be a preference thing. You might like swap Rapid and Quick Step, but for me, I think it's very good, but not as good as the other ones up here, but that is just my opinion. You guys can say what you want about that. It's absolutely fine. And then lastly, guys, we have Relentless Plus. Now, this one is a really tough one. I actually don't know where to put this because I have it on Gayoro, and it is very good. You know, they basically have like full stamina even after like full time when you're going into extra time. So I think this one is going in the S tier. You know, I really believe it. You really notice a massive difference when you use Relentless Plus. Your players always have stamina. It's crazy on a box-to-box midfielder. And when you're using like the R1 press, the second man press, you can do it for so much longer than if you didn't have Relentless Plus. So as far as playstyle pluses go, I noticed this one making a huge difference for me, which is why it's going in the S tier. So this is our final tier list for all of the playstyle pluses. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments. This is what I honestly think at this point in the game. And yeah, that's basically it for the video, guys. If you have enjoyed or found it useful, please be sure to drop it a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you are new so you never miss out on any videos, and don't forget to turn on notifications. And with all that aside, guys, I hope you have a great rest of your day. I'll catch you all in the next one. Peace.